Welcome to this evening's presentation information session about Salem University Integrative Health Coaching Program. It's really a joy for me to be here. My name is Bruce Cryer. I'm a senior advisor to the Integrative Health Institute for Salem, and have been involved in the creation and development of this program. And it's something that to me is so relevant to what we as a human race are going through these days for years, really. The amount of chaos, the amount of overwhelm people feel, the levels of stress that just seem to be compounding one on another. Just when you think something's getting better, then something else pops out that seems even worse. So it's a challenging time for sure. And I think people are more and more than ever are looking for ways to improve their health, take control of their health. But a lot of people don't really know where to start. They haven't been educated well by our education system. And so they look to the idea of an advisor, a coach that could help them. So tonight is really all about the Integrative Health Coach program that Salem has been developing and has launched. And to see those of you who are listening, maybe intrigued by the idea of becoming a coach. And so our main presenter tonight, I'm going to not be doing that much talking after I do these little introductions, is Amy Daly. And Amy has a master's in psychology. She is a full-time employee of Salem University. She is the program coordinator for the Integrative Health Institute. She's also the lead developer of the program Integrative Health Coaching. And she's also the lead faculty for the Integrative Health Coaching program. So we thought, whatever is your level of interest in this health coaching program, Amy is the person, because you would be taught by her. She's been the key developer of the program as well. And herself is a board certified health coach. So she brings an awful lot to the table for a program like this. And so tonight is an opportunity to share a little bit more about even the field of health coaching. I think many of us don't know a lot of what it even is, or why, what is a health coach? Why would you want something like a health coach? But many of you, if you're a healthcare person or a nurse, maybe already thinking, well, I'm into health, I'm into caring for others, but is there another way to do it that might be more satisfying and more effective even for others? And more people are gravitating towards health coaching. And we believe our approach has got something unique because it's more of an integrative approach to health coaching. So we're going to get into all that tonight, but let me introduce Amy Daly. You've heard a little bit about her background. She's the one smiling with a lovely light blue top. My eyes are always drawn to blue tops, especially turquoise in that range. So good choice for tonight, Amy. I'm going to be staring at that quite a lot. So I want to welcome you, but also kind of turn it over to you and share. I know you have some slides presented that the group can see, but to just kind of hear your perspective. You've been deep into this world of health coaching for at least a decade now, I believe, and so your perspectives, I think, are going to be fantastic for people to hear.
Oh, great. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk about this program. I am always excited to talk about health coaching in general. And it wasn't like I went to school to be a health coach. That's not how this all happened. I actually went into psychology and behavioral health. And then I spent a lot of years in higher education teaching psychology. And I had the amazing opportunity. I was recruited for a position as a health coach for a very large weight loss corporation. And because they were very psychology based, not because I knew what I was doing necessarily as a coach, they just wanted my perspective from somebody that has psychology and it's all about behavior change. And I found it to be such a profound profession because it takes my love of psychology, but yet I'm not the one that is digging deep into somebody's past and trying to help them through trauma or diagnosing or providing, advice as it relates to any kind of psychological disorders. What I love most about this is the fact that I get to partner with people in creating their best health, whatever that looks like for them. And it's more of a partnership where the client is in the driver's seat. And they tell me, where they see themselves, where they want to go. And I get to be the one, with so much honor and being so humble about it, getting to know somebody and getting to understand their story, understand what motivates them, understand their dream, their passion. And through that, together, then we come up with a plan to help them reach some health goals. And I went way over what I was supposed to start talking about, but um, I do have a huge passion for health coaching. I apologize. I was supposed to talk about myself and
You
went right
did.
into what health coaching means.
No, but you did actually in talking about the joy you get from talking with people. That was helping us all understand why are you passionate about it. It's one thing for it to be a job. It's
Yeah,
another when it's somebody who's clearly passionate. And so you've just expressed a lot of why I think people could be excited about the idea of becoming a coach. It can be extremely fulfilling
sure.
and satisfying.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, yes. And then for the last decade or so, I've been in health coaching. And then I uh, decided I wanted to become board certified. I felt like our profession needed, I love the fact that we don't have government regulation, we're not regulated in that way. But I wanted health coaching so badly to be seen as, as a true profession. And I love the fact that we have a board where we can have programs that are certified and we all kind of meet the same standards because we're trying to standardize coaching in a certain way. We might all approach it in our unique ways, but to have certain standards to follow is great and gives us credibility as health coaches.
Well, and while we're on it, I think it's one of the distinctions about Salem's Integrative Health Coach Program. We did receive, as you know, the board approval from a group called the NBHWC, the National Board of Health and Wellness Coaches. And that group is the gold standard. That's the group that looks at every program that's wanting to get board certified to approve the structure, the content, every aspect of it to make sure it hits the standard that they've set, a very high standard of what allows a program to be board approved. And then the participants, once they've gone through a board approved program like ours is, later on, they can sit for the exam and potentially pass that exam, enabling them to call themselves board certified, as you have done. And so,
Right.
and when I first heard about this idea that health coaching could be a board certified profession, that was very impressive to me because as somebody who has dealt with a number of fairly significant health issues in the last 12 or 15 years, anytime I would hear about a physician being board certified or even a fitness trainer being board certified, it instantly raises them in my estimation to somebody who's cream of the crop. This is somebody who has passed some standard by some board that's credible that says this person has extra skill, extra knowledge, extra experience than the others who haven't gone through such a process. So to me, it's a great distinction for the coach who ends up coming through a program, and even for us to be able to say ours is a board approved program. So if you take our course, then you will be able, if you choose, to sit for the exam and potentially become board certified by NBHWC as well. So to me, it's a big, a neat distinction. So back to you.
Well, and I think, like I said before, I didn't just jump into health coaching as a profession. Once I kind of understood a little bit of health coaching, I also have had my own health challenges, and I decided to try out a health coach myself. And it was the greatest experience because they helped me feel empowered about my condition. We really focus on things I can control, the things I can do to help myself. And this partnership is a huge benefit for anybody. That you don't have to be sick to have a health coach, right? But if you're someone that has had health conditions in the past, it can certainly be a huge asset in anybody's life. But I guess we might be getting too far ahead. Maybe we should just start from the beginning and
Yeah, let's go
talk
for it.
about what is health coaching. I kind of wanted to know if there's anybody here already that is a practicing health coach. I don't know how do we have a chat enabled in here?
Sure. There's a chat. So yes, if you are, either way, you can say yes or no in the chat.
Yeah. Is anyone here currently coaching? Okay. Well, I mean, I feel like that at least gives me some place to start, right? And I like to know a little bit about the audience. I know we've done webinars for a whole nursing audience before, so it's kind of nice to understand the background of people. All right, so I should probably share. Of course, you said, if I'm quick, I'm probably not that quick here with the technology stuff. All right, so what is health coaching? Health coaching is a collaborative approach, a partnership with someone else who's trying to reach health and wellness goals. And as health coaches, we don't prescribe, we don't give advice, we don't diagnose. But what we do is really learn about a person, understand their story. I like to say understanding their vision of health, their dream of what that looks like, because if they can verbalize that to us, then we can help guide them through goals to help them get to where they want to be. And sometimes the dream at first is just, I want to lose weight for my daughter's wedding, or I want to lower my blood sugar, or, various reasons why they come to a health coach. But as we go along in health coaching, what I find is people's dream actually gets bigger, right? Yes, I might want to lose weight to go to my daughter's wedding, but overall, I want to be able to play with my grandkids. I want to be able to run up and down the stairs and not get out of breath. I want my overall health. I want longevity. And one of the things about working with a health coach is we can actually help people build that dream and gain a large understanding of what it is that they want. And through goal setting, through helping them through challenges and barriers. I mean, there's tons of challenges that get in the way every day of people being able to be healthy. And, health is such a complex and multifaceted issue. For most people, it's not just, it's not just, I need to lose weight and everything's going to be great. Most of the time, there are many other facets of their life, whether it's emotional health, financial health, maybe it's resources to healthy foods, it's their environment, their stress, their sleep. It's this big, wellness is much bigger than just one little issue.
Exactly. We're not seeing your screen yet.
Oh, I'm sitting here in front of my screen thinking you can see it. I apologize.
It's okay. We can understand you very clearly.
Now, can you see my screen?
Yes. It says, what is health coaching?
That's where I was when I was talking about it. I'm so sorry. Yeah. So what is health coaching? Yeah, like I was saying, I feel like it's this collaborative approach to helping people meet their health and wellness goals. And they are in the driver's seat. They are the ones that will reveal to us through certain questioning from us what they're committed to being able to do, what they want to do, making large goals into small, bite-sized, achievable goals. And we're also there to help hold them accountable. We're there to um, cheerlead them sometimes. That's not all we do, but it's nice to hear from somebody that says, geez, last week you made so many mindful choices and, you really worked hard on doing some things. We're just, affirming things that people are doing towards their health. And outside of what is a health coach is this big question is, why is there a need for health coaches? Why is there a demand for health coaches? And the more I've been diving into it, it's really I feel like the biggest part is this gap between health recommendations and actually complying with those health recommendations. For instance, if I go to the doctor and the doctor's like, oh, maybe you need to lose a little weight. I'm like, yeah, okay, great. That's not why I'm here. I could be there for other reasons. Sometimes when somebody of authority tells us what we should be doing, we immediately get on the defensive and are like, yeah, I know what to do. I got this. We leave. And then we might not actually change anything. Or maybe it's, somebody that just found out they have type 2 diabetes and they're meeting with a nutritionist and their doctor's telling them they've got to lose weight and they've got to, do all these things. And coming to a health coach, we can, in a very non-judgmental way, in a way that tries to gain an understanding of their full life story. Again, their whether it's financial resources, whether it's, the grocery store, family support, all the facets of being a human, it tied into wellness and in their condition. But there's so many times that they don't know where to start. And we can help guide them to where they want to be and help guide them to start. And maybe it can be super overwhelming to get a diagnosis of any kind. And we can help sift them through what their recommendations are and really focus on what they think is doable for them in the moment and build from there. So again, it's this gap between what we should be doing and what we actually are doing. Plus, we know that, I think the last statistic I read, 70% of our health conditions are chronic illnesses that are lifestyle based. So whether that's not getting enough sleep, it's stress induced, it's your diet, your lack of physical fitness, whatever those things are, they are creating illnesses that we aren't addressing, these lifestyle factors. And health coaches can really bridge this gap and be there for someone and help guide them to take back control of those things in their life.
If I could interject, you just made a great point about why we're calling our program Integrative Health Coaching, because as you just pointed out, you could have a health issue, you could have a family history of cardiovascular disease or hypertension or whatever it may be. And rarely is that condition caused by a single factor. Or let's say that you're 25 pounds too heavy or 50 or whatever the number is. It's rarely just a matter of food. Often exercise is involved. Often emotions are involved. Why are you even choosing to eat food that you know is not good for you, but you do it anyway? So there often are multiple factors, let alone the stress in your life, which many people eat to feel comfort when they're stressed. So the point is, we are multifactorial people with many dimensions: mental, emotional, physical, social, spiritual. And so to improve our health requires an integrated approach that addresses the fact that, let's say, as you know, as a health coach, so many of the people are, weight is an issue for a lot of people. Rarely, I'm sure, if ever, is the issue only about the food they're eating or what seems to be adding the pounds, when no, it's not. Yes, the food is a factor, of course, but there's so many things to try to get aligned. And that's what we're trying to do, both in the training of the coach that goes through our program, to help them understand about themselves, let alone about their future clients, that we're all integrated people made up of all these parts that need addressing, not just a single solution.
Yeah, absolutely. And these are some of the best conversations I have even in the classroom, is when students can reflect on their own experiences and what has kept them from maybe reaching goals that they had set out to do. And now that they've been through a big portion of the program, how might they actually go about it differently? How would they set goals for themselves now that they have this new kind of found knowledge about integrative health? And it's really a fun and eye-opening experience for students, and even for me. I swear I learn something new every time I get to hear from students and from clients as well. And this goes back to what you were just talking about, Bruce. Our program is very focused on this integrative health coaching, and what bringing in the whole person, right? Sometimes people don't even realize that their hydration is a factor. Somebody might be having evening cravings and they're like, oh, I just crave sugar, I crave fat all night, and I just want to snack. Well, when you're working with somebody I had a lot of experience with clients and understands that things like, well, are you thirsty? Maybe you're really tired. Maybe you're not addressing some of the needs that are the real needs, and you're substituting that for snacking. People do that all the time, where we don't even look at things like, well, maybe I really am tired. Maybe I should just go to bed, or maybe I haven't had a glass of water in 2 days and I need to hydrate myself, because our bodies respond similarly to not getting those needs. Our first instinct in our body is, well, we just need to fuel ourselves. We need to fuel ourselves. So let's find the quickest fuel. And also we know that relationships play a big impact on health, positively and negatively. You could be, maybe the people that you're hanging around are also have the same kind of habits that you have now. So to change, it might be really challenging. Maybe it's family members, maybe people that you love are like, telling you to eat certain things or to do certain things that are contradictory to what you feel like you should be doing to be your best healthy self. And again, it could also be people work different shifts. People that work third shift, work 12-hour shifts, they have different needs than people that work 8 to 5. And so this holistic part is really just understanding a person's life, their story, what not only motivates them, but what triggers them to do certain things. What are their habits that they're currently facing? Do they have support in their life? Do they have access to a clean outdoors, to clean water, to healthy foods? All these things really should be addressed when focusing on health and wellness. And let's be honest, most physicians don't have time to sit down with a client and say, hey, how's your hydration, or how's your sleep going? When you go to the store, what is the first food that you're searching for? They don't have time. We live in a very fast-paced society. Our medical, they're run as well by their administration, their policies. And so maybe they only get 5 minutes with the patient every 3 months. How are they going to be able to spend that time with them to gain a complete understanding of what their patient needs? And so I feel like health coaches not only fill that gap, but we are an added service. We are this partnering with clients in helping them navigate some of these sticky areas of health. Again, even if they're seeing a nutritionist, they're seeing a therapist, they're seeing a doctor. They could be seeing all of them. Doesn't mean that they don't also couldn't benefit from having a coach as well, because a coach can help them for themselves in their unique way, decide what is most important for them in this moment and approach it in a very doable manner, even if it changes over time. People come to me originally for one thing, and then over time that grows, that gets bigger, and we're just different, and that's okay.
That's a great point, because we as people all evolve, we change. Life creates
Yes.
situations where we may need to change. And so the goals you start out with could change because a member of the family suddenly loses their job or gets a job, but requires so much more of their time that this impacts you. And so suddenly now you're dealing with stress in a whole other way than you were a month ago or 3 months ago. So I think that's an important role of the coach, to stay current with the person. So, up to the minute, what's going on now? Are those goals that we talked about 2 months ago when we started still all the relevant ones? Are we still on track, or is there something else that now is, well, we better start paying attention to this because of, whatever is the reason. So that's a great point.
Yeah.
So,
And that's what our students are there to learn as well, is, do we need to step back sometimes and ask our clients, where are we right now? What's going on in your life? What has changed in your life? Are these still something that you want to work on? Does this fit into your bigger vision of your dream, your health vision? I have people all the time ask me, like, well, what kind of background do I need to be a health coach? And I feel like what tends to show up a lot are people that are in caring services in industries, teachers, nurses, EMTs, therapists, even people in education. But that doesn't mean that they have to come from there. They can come from any background. There is not one particular background that makes somebody the best coach. Just like we have clients that are unique individuals, we are unique as well. And I don't want to be, as much as I adore Bruce, right? I can't be just like Bruce, right? We need different people to service different clients and different needs. So career backgrounds, I just find that it's more about your desires, your passion, your wantingness to connect with other people, to maybe even, if your current position is, let's say, a nurse, or somewhere else in the medical field, you don't even have to say, oh, I want to change jobs, right? You can use health coaching to augment what you're already doing as well. It doesn't even have to be a job shift or a job change. You can take the techniques, the principles, and the concepts with you in any profession. Just like, I used to have, when I taught psychology, I used to have students that say, my parents will be so mad if I major in psychology, right? Because they feel like they can't go get a job with psychology. And as a psych person, I'm like, are you kidding me? This is how we deal with people. This is how we relate to people. This is how we communicate, is by understanding how people work, how people tick. So that was my little psych tangent. But anyways, the career background, it can be from any background, whether you're trying to change careers, whether you want to just augment your career, or do both, right? We have people that you might be a nurse and do health coaching on the side. You don't have to choose necessarily. Any thoughts on that, Bruce?
yeah, just that's an excellent point, especially regarding nursing. I think we know that there are hundreds of thousands of nurses seriously considering leaving the profession completely.
Right.
The last several years were hell. And even though COVID, well, we'll see what happens with the current surge, but seems to be mostly behind us, the problems are not gone. The problem,
Right.
chaos inside health system, the problems of understaffing, people are just feeling completely overwhelmed and more unappreciated than ever. So the exact same things that cause anybody to leave a job are very present now. And more health systems are realizing we got to get health coaches who are nurses or part of our staff already, because we're dealing with corporate clients who use our facility for their employees' health. We need to give them coaches. I have a friend of mine up in Connecticut who has been a nurse at the Yale New Haven system, which is a major health system, affiliated with Yale University. And she was on loan as a health coach, I think for a year, to one of their corporate clients, which happened to be a casino. So she was the health coach for the employees of a casino. And her regular job had been ER nurse.
Wow.
The two seem quite different. So to the degree she was burning out on the ER in an urban center, now she's able to be a health coach for employees who have real life issues,
Right.
to be helped and want to be helped. So there are more and more nurses that are doing that and able to stay in nursing. Other people that are getting a similar opportunity with corporations, where
Yes.
corporations are realizing if we're going to cut employee healthcare costs, if we're going to improve engagement of our employees, if we're going to help our people feel more valued and understood and appreciated, health coaching can tick all of those boxes. Because so corporations are saying we need health coaches in order to help our own people live
Yeah.
well, be healthier, prevent chronic disease from taking over their life, etc. So I think there's a lot of opportunity and a lot of potentials that are unfolding in this country in particular.
Right. And even for our particular program, although it is housed in a traditional education system, you don't have to have a degree to come into our program. If you decide to become a nationally board certified health and wellness coach, they do have their own criteria, whether it's amount of working hours or certain degrees, but to actually get into our coaching program, you don't have to have a set background or even previous education.
Great.
Now I feel really silly for the way this looks. I actually did it on Canva and it messed up some of my words. Sorry about that. I actually do know how to spell. But I wanted to talk about what does it take, what are some of the skills for coaches? And I like to, they used to call them soft skills. I think we call them, they're just people skills now, right? I mean, these are the essential skills to being a good worker anywhere, is being able to listen. I mean, listening is such an under taught skill, to actively listen to somebody, to really pay attention to their body language, to what they're not saying, in addition to what they are saying. Things like being resourceful, being adaptable, problem solving, and just this passion to help guide people towards positive health, I think is the biggest motivator. And being empathetic, like we can be empathetic towards someone and still guide them to where they need to be, without judgment, and yet not also get into the trap of being overly sympathetic, if that makes sense, like not getting trapped in the story of all the problems that they have and all of the barriers that they might be experiencing. We can be empathetic towards that and try to help them, guide them through that without getting stuck in the story or around all those things. So good communication skills, being able to brainstorm ideas with clients, having this collaborative kind of attitude. And this can be a shift for people, especially if you've already been in medical care in the past. It's possible that you're not used to having a partnership with the patient or a collaboration with the patient, right?
Yeah, to me
About that.
that's a big deal about the importance of the coaching skills that are taught in this program, of integrative health coaching program, that it's not about you learning to become a good dictator of somebody else's life.
Right.
You may have great knowledge. You may have been in the health field for years and you have all kinds of things you can teach people, but that's not the job of the coach. The job of the coach is to be curious about your life and to not have fixed assumptions about somebody presents a certain way and, oh, I've got them figured out. Uh-huh. Family history. Oh yeah, probably haven't exercised in 20 years. Uh-huh. Okay, I got it. Here's your program. That's not the intention here, because if we're not engaging the person that has the goal, if they don't feel like they're part of this and not just being told. I mean, some people might prefer just give me the thing and I'll go do
Oh
it.
yeah.
But I'm sure you run into those too. But and that's great for those folks. But the real essence is we know that many people's health issues are complex and they do have to
Right.
do with insecurities or trauma or vulnerabilities that exist in their life. So you need a coach. You need somebody who is trained to be supportive and to be a great listener, as you were just saying, Amy, not just
Mhm.
somebody that's good at talking and laying out, here's the plan. But to whatever degree the person wants that, sure, that can
Right.
be what the coach needs to fulfill. So the coach is kind of at your service, able to educate, but especially able to listen and
Right.
able to stay curious and try to really understand what that person feels. And to me, that's a skill of its own. That's and partly what I think attracts a lot of people. I'm sure it was for you, to the field of coaching and health coaching, is that sense of satisfaction that I'm not just teaching somebody and they're following mindlessly.
Correct.
We're doing this together. And so they're feeling empowered. Their confidence is growing as a result of that because they're in the
Oh, I'll
decision.
tell you, those are some of the most amazing shifts ever is when somebody goes from, look, I'm just here because I want to lose weight or I just want to do this thing, to all of a sudden having, a couple months down the road, they have this aha moment of, these things that I've been doing this to myself that have been holding me back. It could be even a shift in the way they talk to themselves, the way they think about themselves. And you can tell when that shift happens. And it's so satisfying as a coach, not because I feel like, look what I've done as a coach, but look what this person did. All those amazing things that I saw in someone else, they're finally seeing in themselves. And I get to be witness to that. And that I can't, talk about that even more. Like I get goosebumps thinking about it because it is transformational. Coaching is absolutely transformational. Um,
It's
yeah,
beautiful.
and some people might be thinking about, well, okay, so I become a health coach. Now what? What does that mean? What's my career path look like? And I think we touched on it a little bit. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. It can be a combination of what you're already doing, but you want to maybe start working. Maybe you want to open your own coaching practice, on the side. Maybe it's something that you want to do in a career that you already have. Look, if you're an educator, students can use some coaching, right? It might be in time management. It might be dealing, I know coaches who deal specifically in things like ADHD, other cognitive or learning problems that they're trying to help with students. And so I also feel like not only it can be an education or something that you're already doing, I've noticed far more within the last couple of years that health insurance companies are hiring coaches, have full staff coaches, because they're offering those coaches to their clients, right? To their subscribers, essentially. And usually they're corporate subscribers. And I know a lot of businesses that have health insurance companies that offer this health coaching because we know if we're focusing on things like lifestyle changes, lifestyle habits, that their medical costs may go down. Their risks of chronic illnesses may go down. I've also seen I feel like it used to be when I first started out, corporations or big startup companies weren't necessarily looking for anybody that was board certified. They might have been looking for experience and some education in health coaching, but I really feel like that's shifting. I am more often than not seeing where they want somebody that's got that board certificate. And again, I think that goes back to what you're saying, because it shows a standard level of education in addition to experience that maybe corporations' health coaching isn't what they do. So they're using that MBHWC credential to be assured that the people they're bringing on have similar educational backgrounds.
Amy,
Yeah,
I have I got one question.
yeah,
I have received the company Blue Cross Blue Shield Anthem, and
yes.
they sent to me a mail. It takes 1 minute to qualify for LARC Digital Health Coaching. What is that? Is a health
So
coaching
what's the first
app
word
or something like?
for, you said digital health coaching? What was the part before
Yeah,
that?
yes, that's what they said. They are adding it. See to if you are qualifying. See if
Ah,
you qualify for LARC. I think that's something like a digital one, which they are just showing like this.
okay, okay. Yeah, so digital and virtual
Yeah.
is all the craze now. I find that a lot of insurance companies are doing this.
Yeah.
So in this instance, and I don't know specifically for Anthem, but it could be that you're actually texting with a coach, whether it's over the
Oh, okay.
computer
Yeah.
or through your own phone, through an app.
Yeah.
It could be one-on-one virtual conversations,
Hmm.
through things like Zoom.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just, yeah, they're
That's
not,
opportunity. Yeah.
yeah,
Lot of
and they're not coming to
opportunity.
your house necessarily, but they're
No.
going to
No.
show up digitally and be around for you in that aspect. And I'm finding there is a lot of that happening now, which is great in one
Yeah.
aspect because we're so busy, right? It's just humans, we're just busy. And so being able to have somebody text message you or whether it's on the
Remind you.
phone. Yeah, yeah. It's a little different. It can feel different for the coach to be behind a keyboard, doing
Yeah.
it, but it can be just as meaningful because again, you're having somebody listen to your whole story.
It's
And
not like a artificial intelligence listening to
no,
somebody else on the other side.
no. And
It's very human.
I'm
Yeah.
not against AI,
Yeah.
but look, we still need our humanness. We need
Yes, that's what I want to know.
curiosity. Yeah, we need to know that there's somebody that's human that has had these similar experiences or been around people with similar experiences to help guide us for sure. Yeah. I think that's what it means more than AI.
Okay.
I would be surprised if you were getting a robot coach. But yeah, so I just think that there's a lot of different paths. Can you think of other ones, Bruce? I was thinking big corporations, insurance, having your own coaching practice.
Yeah, I
People
think those are
group
the
coaching
those are the
too.
big ones. Yeah, exactly. There's more and more quote group coaching. It sounds a bit of a misnomer, like, well, why don't you call that training? But where there's some degree of one-on-one, but a lot of it's done more as a group. So
Right.
we're learning certain skills and techniques at the same time. But I think that pretty well covers it. I mean, in a way, it's kind of split between you could be working either part-time or full-time for an organization, and that could be a
Right.
corporation, a nonprofit, a government agency, a school district, a health system, obviously, or you're more on your own. And then it's up to you to align with the clinic or have your own shingle or just do it
Mhm.
yourself. And these days, of course, has anybody ever used Zoom before? I think, oh yeah, all of us here tonight, like most of the planet uses Zoom now. So the idea of being coached over Zoom, that seems normal.
Yeah, for
I would,
sure.
of course you could do that 3 years ago. What are you talking about? So I think that gives a lot more flexibility to a coach to realize there's any number of ways I can take this this desire that I have. And as you pointed out, there's more and more research coming out saying that the presence of a coach for an organization can lower health costs, can increase engagement, lower
Mhm.
attrition. improve health in general. And specifically too, I've seen in some of the studies by Harvard that when a coach is specifically helping with things like the disease management, is someone who has a chronic illness, and the coaching is addressing that is particularly economically beneficial to the organization. Absolutely. There's significant ROI when the focus is when people who have known diseases that they're trying to manage get the assistance of a coach. That's like a double big win, because the person especially needs the help because they are dealing with something more significant, and the company is spending a lot of money on those folks because they're a valued employee, but the healthcare for them is quite expensive. So it can be a real win-win for everybody in those kind of settings as well.
Well, and essentially you're getting people to be invested in their own health, right? They're taking back their own health. And I think when people are invested in themselves, the rest is a little easier than being told what to do all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So why don't let's get into hearing a little bit about the program coming up and at the end of the month. Are you there in the slideshow yet? We're getting close to
yes, now I am. I think so. I kind of like forgot about the slides and we're just talking, and which is fine too. I enjoy having these conversations. Okay, so our particular program is split into 2-week 8 courses. So it's a total of 16 weeks. And we do like to take a break in between the 2 8 weeks. There are 2 90-minute live classes each week. And those are mandatory because they are a part of the MBHWC guidelines that we adhere to. And honestly, to read about coaching isn't the same as doing it with each other, right? And practicing with one another, feeling that awkwardness and working through it, right? So the live classes are great. They're fun. And I mean, yes, it's a learning environment too, but there are a lot of asynchronous materials, a lot of videos. I like to include a lot of recent research. So anytime I find some recent research about health coaching, I like to throw that in as well. We have some traditional parts in education, our long distance education, like discussion boards. And, we might be talking about the obesity crisis as a team in a discussion board. There are assignments, but I like to think of these assignments as more of self-reflection assignments, where they're taking their own experiences and with the knowledge of the things that we learned this week and sharing how things might have gone a little differently, whether it was in motivation, some kind of behavior change. When it comes to ethics, I like for them to find their own kind of ethics case and bring it to the group. So we have a lot of discussions. There's a lot of mock coaching. There is one-on-one coaching. So students are required to have coaching sessions, but it can be with somebody that, friend, family, fellow student, and they record them. And then the instructors, and right now that's me, will view the recording. And then I have a whole entire rubric where we just, it's not about checking every little single box. It's more about how you're feeling as a coach, the flow. Are you listening? Are you using those, person skills that we've been learning about? And so it's this combination of asynchronous and synchronous. It is all online. There is no, you don't have to travel anywhere. And so it's a pretty fast process, but it's still very much in depth and covers everything that is needed and meets the regulations for MBHWC. But I also love how cost effective it is. Our program for the full 16 weeks is $3,300. And our cohorts are small. So we want to make sure that you're getting as much one-on-one attention as possible. So I can't remember what the max we're thinking, like 10 for each cohort. And our next one starts actually August 28th. So I am super excited about that. And it'll be fun to, some of the students and I were talking now as well. I think what we're also going to start is having like, whether it's twice a month or once a month, for those that have gone through the program, we want to support them in getting their coaching hours. We want to support them in, studying for the MBHWC exam. So I think we're going to start our own little kind of like side group, study group to for students. And yeah, I think I went through all of that.
One
Any
thing,
questions? Yeah.
one thing I'll interject that I think
Please.
I'm proud of how we've structured this is that 16 weeks, that's just shy of 4 months. The majority of programs that I see are 6 to 12 months, some even longer. So this is far more convenient time-wise. Secondly, the price. The $3,300 price is on the low end of cost for health coaching programs. A lot of them are in the $5,000 to $10,000 range. So this is much more affordable, both in terms of time and in terms of finances than many of them are. And as we've said a few times now, our program is board approved by NBHWC, so that gives it an extra leg up, if you will, on other programs that are not. So that enables you to then, if assuming you come through the course and then you choose to pay the exam fee and take the full exam from NBHWC and satisfy their requirements, then you pass, and now you're a board certified health coach. And to your point earlier, that more and more organizations are requiring that. They're saying, look, there's a lot of people becoming health coaches, and some of them are like a certificate on a weekend. Well, how can you be a health coach when that's all that it is? And so we want to make sure they've gone through a board approved program. So that's a big distinguishing factor here. So it's not nearly as time consuming as other programs. It's much more affordable. There are payment plans possible as well. So if that fee still seems high based on your current finances, we can arrange a payment plan that does work for you. So we're pretty excited about the potential of this program to change a lot of lives, to give an awful lot of people that want support, don't know how to get it, but need somebody like you to help them. That this gives an opportunity for all that. So it's a pretty cool program.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of it too.
As you should be.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
One of the things I loved about one of the students in the first cohort was the individual saying how much they learned about themselves. They weren't expecting.
Right.
Like, well, this sounds like I'm going to be learning about other people, what I'm going to be able to do for other people. But in the process of learning how to be a health coach, you have to learn about yourself. You have to understand motivations and listening in many dimensions. That so the process itself is a self-development, a personal growth process. You will gain no matter where you go with your certificate of completion from Salem. You will gain as a person tremendously.
Oh, I say that about myself all the time. Health coaching changed my life, and that's not an advertisement. That is something I will always be grateful for, that this unfolded the way it did. So it's so neat to watch how our thoughts change and how we grow as people through this whole process. So I just wanted, excuse me, I know that we're in the last few minutes, not that we're in a big hurry, but our next cohort is August 28th. And you can either email me directly at amy.daly@salemu.edu if you want any more information, or even IHI@salemu.edu. And I would love to, if anybody has questions about the classes at all, what they contain, if you want to just talk about, what you're thinking, I'd be happy to hear it. Anybody have anything?
I have a question for you, since I'm going to be presenting this to other folks. What's the kind of schedule? Is it a pretty rigid schedule for the courses?
For our live classes.
Yes.
So actually what I did, because our cohorts are small, I actually asked what would work best. I kind of went and took a poll to see what days and times would work best for the whole class. And we settled on, at least for this current cohort, is from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays, because people work and we know that people might need time to get home, put kids down, feed dinner, whatever. So we try to make it more in the evening. I'm always open to being flexible. You know, if we get a cohort that needs it shifted in time, we can definitely look at that.
Well, that's good. The people I'll be talking to, it'd be best for them in the evening. So that's why I asked that question.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it is Eastern time. So that does make a difference for California people, right? Somebody out there.
Yes, that's my question actually. If I get this video, I mean the recorded one, I can send to a couple of my friends there in California. It's a BLI University, and I can ask them to, if anybody's interested, you can ask them to register for health coaching here. I'll do that.
I mean, the reality is, if let's say we got 10 students from the West Coast and they needed a later time, I say let's work with them, right, and give them a later time.
Okay.
For a class. I think it makes sense for us to be flexible. We ask students to be flexible. We should be flexible too, in creating an atmosphere where they feel comfortable.
Yeah. While we're on that topic of groups, and like as you just said, let's say we had everybody on the West Coast. Well, let's make sure it's working time wise for them. We are also open, and we're in dialogue with a healthcare organization at the moment that is planning to schedule a cohort of 10 or more 3 times a year, because they have a steady stream of people involved in new health technology who want to become a health coach, especially go all the way to board certified health coach, because that gives more credibility to what they're doing. So we will be coming to an agreement with this organization probably this week, actually. So they will have their own cohort of 10 people that no other people outside the organization would be part of, in which case we would be happy to somewhat customize the program. It doesn't mean change the whole program, because the program is board approved. We have to stick to the requirements of NBHWC, but at the same token, we can add some elements so that the people that all share information from that company, it's reflected to some degree in exercises, in certain discussions. So that's an opportunity, and we bring that up specifically for you, Greg, too, because in the past organization that I was in often had groups of teachers going through together as a cohort to get, in this case, it was a master's degree in integrative health and healing. And so things were customized because you had 10 teachers all from the same school, all coming through a program. So that's, and not that you have to do that, of course, but that becomes an option where it's even more affordable to the individual. We can extend a significant discount to an organization because they're committing to, let's say, 10, and so we do a little design to make sure that school district is you feel it, if you will, through how the program is done. So that's an exciting opportunity that we're exploring as well.
I did want to mention too. I'm sorry.
Any hospital or organizations or health institutions, they give a scholarship for their own staff to take these courses, health coaches? Any scholarship or funding?
Are they doing that?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Yeah.
We're just getting those discussions happening now. Yes.
Okay.
I know in the case of there's some hospital systems that are already aligned with Salem, who doing it for that purpose. They are willing to fund much or all of the tuition in some cases, if that employee agrees to stay employed after they get the coaching program. The organization, it's in their interest.
So you can retention for the staff member if they are providing something and they ask them to stay there.
Now that staff member is, let's say they're a teacher in a school district, they're still going to primarily be a teacher, but now they're also a coach. So that gives extra kind of an extra bit of motivation to stay in that job, because now they get to do something extra that's even more satisfying, perhaps, as well as it's great for the school system to have a valued employee that's now got extra skills so I think there's some interesting potentials here.
I did want to mention too, when we're talking about the different times, when it comes to, they have to do record a session and then I provide feedback. That feedback is also live one-on-one through a Zoom call, but I always reach out to each student individually and ask them what time works best for them, where we could meet, for a half hour. So yeah, we want to be able to work with people. And we do know for sure, not only do we have the August 28th cohort, but we are going to be starting one January 2nd as well.
Okay, well, unless we have any other questions, thanks to everybody who was here tonight and everybody who's watching on the replay. And as Amy mentioned, the next class is coming up pretty soon. Depending on when you're watching this, it could be really soon, but there's still time to get things organized for August 28th. We hope you can join us. And if not, pass the information along. This is a program that's has a lot of potential because of the need in society.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, that.
Yes.
So
thank you all for being here.
good to see you all. Thank you, Amy.
Yes, thank you, Amy.
Excellent.